Before we head out for Coilsbain Cavern, there's a Jottun problem we need to deal with for the locals. Thought we'd go ahead and do some crafting. First, I want to read this skill book that I found. Get a free point in sage crafting. It'll come in handy later. Great if you're making gems, enchantments for your gear. And I also managed to salvage this steel blade off this junk weapon that we found. So, thought I'd go ahead and see if I couldn't get at least a slight upgrade, damage upgrade. Nothing else. Don't really have a bunch of components. The blacksmith guy here, he probably sells some stuff. I could probably get some, I don't know, fire or lightning or whatever. But, base damage is actually fine. I have a buff that provides a passive that gives my weapon poison. I can always throw that on there. I'm really looking for just a slight damage increase. We'll get much better stuff later and come up with some pretty nasty weapons. The crafting essentially breaks the balance of the game, especially mid to late game. You can have some pretty devastating stuff. We're one-shotting almost some things right now, as it is. Come about level, I don't know, 15, 20-ish. Oh, man. Yeah, you get pretty stout. They give you some really cool skills to work with, too. So we'll just call this the boring big blade because there's really nothing special to it. I'm not a big fan, really, of the way this looks either. If we get some really fine quality iron stuff later, I might wind up just sticking with whatever blade looks best because, honestly, maximizing the stuff. Actually, the top tier stuff that you have to work with, I think it's Prismere. I really don't like the way it looks. I'm not a fan. I mean, the Prismere daggers are okay. They're smaller, but like the great swords and stuff like that, I really don't like them. So we can go ahead and fast travel because we discovered this place a little while ago. We'll go see what Jottun are. These are actually really cool enemies. Big jolly fellows. The magic reacting to the presence of our character. Something special about us, and essentially we don't remember who we were, which might be a good thing. We might find out later in the game that the person that we were, as opposed to the type of hero we've become, might be two different things. These will start to unfold, especially as we get more and more involved with Alan Shear. That chick who was there when we found the dead Fate Weaver. Yeah, look at these guys. It's no fun getting tossed up in the air by their damn hammers either. They hit pretty hard. It's going to be nice to get some mana regen. We're not going to have a whole lot of mana to work with per se, but what little we do have, it'd be nice to be able to throw our little poison darts. Every once in a while, at least. Yeah, most of our mana or stamina pool is really going to be reserved for passives. For the most part. Bleeding, and other stuff. And it's going to essentially reserve most of our bar. In fact, our mana bar will look a lot like Meryl's does in Dragon Age 2. Where essentially, she doesn't really draw off mana, she uses all that for her other stuff, That's kind of how we're going to play it. So one little boggart holdout. Apparently this is where the plague-bearing boggarts came from. The Jottun moved in and chased them out of their cave, and they're pissed about it, so they're running around the forest, infecting everybody with their sickness. Little shits. I can't blame them for being mad, but the people in the nearby village didn't do anything to anybody. Minding their own business, here come these boggarts out of the wood, slapping the shit out of everybody. giving them all the flu. Yeah, that's not a bad looking blade. If this would have been the iron design, I would have expected the iron blade, the one you start with, to have been more like the steel one. Something of an upgrade. I guess it's all a matter of taste, but oh, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's start getting some stuff. Stuff that we can actually use. Anytime you find great sword and loot, you're like, okay, what can I do with this? And eventually you start finding the blue and the purple ones, and you start to think to yourself, if I get my blacksmithing skill up, I can use parts from this, you know? Salvage a nice fancy blade or a really high quality grip or something. The crafting system in this game is, well, it's amazing. Seeing as the guy that was at least partly in charge of this game is working on Mass Effect Andromeda, that gives me some hope. We have yet to see. As this video goes up, we still have about another month, almost 2 months, to wait for Andromeda to come out, but it does give me it is pretty encouraging to think that maybe some of the thought that went behind this crafting system, we might see it play out in Andromeda. That'd be awesome. Oh man, he can interrupt me mid-stride. Now I believe when we get our, what would you call it, Reaver or Berserker mode going, there's a passive skill in the Might Tree, and that's going to be a ways on down the road. It's not anything we're going to pick up anytime soon. But I believe it also prevents you from being interrupted. And as you take damage, it can also bring about other benefits. When I threw all the skills together for this particular build, and we're going to wish later on that some of the enemies were just a little more stout to really give us a run for our money. Okay, there's some chakram. Check that out. That's what I'm talking about. You see, that's weaker than what I have. Bleed is fine, but for right now, I think we'll go with the sword we just made. There we go. I hadn't really used these yet, but these things are just so ridiculously badass. Essentially magic boomerang disc thingies, you know? A lot of fun to use, and they have cool animations and stuff. Now, we're not going to max out our sorcery tree to where we can do all the fancy things with chakrams, but we'll make them effective. We'll maximize their damage at least, their base damage, and get some basic attacks that you can use coming out of block and stuff. And really, there's a lot of move sets, a lot of stuff that's going to come into play later. Ah, got a chieftain. Let's see how many times I got to hit him. It's all slow motion. These really do remind me of Fable a lot. I bring that up. The gameplay and, you know, all the stuff that's in the game, like, you know, crafting and the skill systems. Okay, none of that was in Fable, not really. But as far as just the look and kind of the feel of the place, everything's got a cartoonish quality, you know? And the monsters are really cool. Nothing real sinister. It's all, well, almost friendly, right? I don't know, man. It just has that quality. It's like, I think they want it to be all-inclusive for the people that might play this game. People who might like cute stuff and cool stuff and pretty stuff and badass stuff and brutal stuff and, I mean, everything with the art style and the music, and it has a fantasy style setting, lots of magic and stuff everywhere, but then really cool fighting and stuff too. Strong weapons, badass enemies. I wish they were a little more badass, personally, but still, be that as it may. Can't knock the fact that they look really cool. We still have a couple more Jottun to kill. It said we had 10 total. So I'm guessing we have another section to this cave. Coilsbain Ruins, okay. I dodged. Dodge that. Imagine if you couldn't ever stagger anybody. Combat would be a little more brutal, but they can stagger the shit out of you too, so it's fair. There's some enemies we're going to face later that if they hit you, you might be stun locked long enough to just get killed outright, especially if they have a few little buddies with them. Oh, now look at this. This is fantastic. Okay, so it's like the water. This was initially like water filled, right? But the water's being held back by magic. And you can see the jellyfish floating along the edge. Isn't that cool? Like the magic is holding it back to create this tunnel going towards this magical place. We're going to see a few other places like this too. Yeah, they did a lot of good with this game. Oh, seriously? It's no fun when you got 4 or 5 of these guys charging with hammers all at the same time. Stomach bumped me. Nice. Give me all that money. Money is not going to be a problem. We might just find some stuff to piss money off on. I tend to, in RPGs, I call it habit or whatever, go for stuff that I can find and save my money for other things. You know, like housing or whatever. Or unique collectible type stuff that you can't find otherwise. Now what's this? I wonder if us being able to change fate has something to do with this.
Surprised me. What are you doing down here? I see my Jottun have failed at their orders. But did Paarthurnax send you? Lysander, perhaps? Tell me. Those fools have no idea what I'm capable of, which is obvious if you're all they sent to stop me. You act as though you're surprised to find me here, as if you weren't sent here to stop me, my pursuit. But you're too late. Even now, my deathless servants rise from centuries of slumber. It is clear I cannot let you live, but answer me this, and I'll grant you a swift death. Which one sent you? Was it Paarthurnax or Lysander?
Lutes? Drums? Maybe?
As if the Onyx Tower and the Rose Court would ever end their feud. As for you, for that pathetic attempt at deception, you will be days in the dying.
Well, how about this? Your arrogance blinds you to the fact that I'm going to just kick your ass. How about that? I understand you're a legend in your own mind with your undead army or whatever you think you're going to do. You always got some overly proud, arrogant, self-appointed idiot who's going to take advantage of the state of war, the local state of war, to, you know, while everybody's distracted, to do just some bullshit. He doesn't let his magic go to his head and thinks he's gonna, I don't know what, conquer the world or something. Yep, there's always a handful of these guys. Yeah, but anyway, I like going with what I can find and save my money for, you know, the important stuff, the things you can't find, essentially. In this case, I think we'll have enough money. There's no trophies for having a certain amount of money or any of that I'm going for. None of that kind of stuff. I think we're just going to, throw our money around like we just have full money bags, right? Yeah, see, my health is only, what, at 98 now, so a 10-point health boost is 10%. I mean, that's not bad for a basic enchantment, at least for right now.
Didenhil village, traveler.
You're back. Glad to see you made it out of there alive.
We felt the earth shake and when you hadn't returned. But no matter. Our town is forever in your debt. Please, take this. It's not much after all you've done, but we would like you to have it.
Cool.
The boggarts will always trouble Didenhil. As long as we can keep a supply of Plague Shield, we'll survive this malady. Until later, then.
Well, maybe they'll be less aggressive now that we've given them their house back. We'll go ahead and salvage that and see if we can't get some more quality parts out of it. Once we start making some really good gems and stuff, we'll look at crafting a solid set of gear. The materials we find will start going up also. Come higher quality stuff. See, health regen. Now, the St. Hadwin's beads, the ones that we're taking to those altars to bless, they give us bonus damage against Niskaru, which, well, we'll see what Niskaru are all about later on. Let's put it this way. If it's a blessing, then Niskaru are probably the bad guys. And any bonus damage against them probably come in handy. All right, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.